Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, welcome to another episode on Reunite with Self. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, I want to apologize. This episode is coming to you way later in the week than usual. Normally, every episode is aired on Thursdays. Every Thursday, we have a new episode, and this one is coming to you on a Sunday. I apologize. If you have been following me on Instagram at Skevela, which is in the show notes, if you've been following my IG where I share with you everything about my Goddess Wear brand, about this Reunite with Self, my podcast, and all the other things. I was putting that in the stories that it's going to come out later. But if you're just listening to the podcast and if you don't see me on socials, I apologize. I have been traveling for 2 weeks. I was prepared for it. I batched the content before, but my trip got a little extended. So that's why I'm behind. I'm back home now. And I think it's all meant to be, because the past 2 weeks was quite intense for me. And I'm guessing I was supposed to do this episode right afterwards because I am learning so much in this journey and I want to keep on learning. And my intention is to have compassion for myself along the way. I had these past 2 weeks was, I don't want to say emotional because I always feel my feelings in a big way. So I love being emotional because everything is emotion for me. But it was I had a lot of anger, frustration, sadness, grief, but also joy and celebration and feeling of empowerment and all the things as well. But it was quite challenging for me. And I know that as I learn in my path, I'm going to share it with you because this is sort of me going deeper into all the things about the subconscious, about the family stuff, all the dysfunctionality and how it truly affected me. I am learning in my journey instead of just listening from other people about their experience. I think for me to be able to support others, my journey is supposed to have the challenges that I have in my life so I can really go deeper. And what's fascinating for me is human behavior. It's truly fascinating for me. And it's something that I have gifts about since I was, I guess, a baby. I am gifted in seeing people and see where their behavior is coming from. But it's very different when you are yourself in your own human journey and seeing the patterns in your life and really truly not just get out of them, but truly see what's stopping you. So I I value my experience as a human on this earth. I'm not saying this from an ego way, like I'm not superior or inferior to anyone, but I think the best way that I can support others is really go deeper in my journey and become my own best empowered self, like meeting my true self, as this podcast name suggests, like reuniting with my true self. And that journey entails a lot of letting go, a lot of clarity. And that clarity usually comes with a lot of challenge. And that's why, like with the challenge, you want to create the clarity. You have that push. That's like your drive to make changes in your life and to create the clarity. And so it was quite powerful. And I returned home. I'm at my home now, and I'm recording this, and I'm just going to air it right away. And the last couple of days has just been me getting my things organized, getting my home together, like doing all the things, unpacking laundry and everything, and like making my schedules, the urgent emails, messages, everything. And oh my God, I just had an experience that I want to know like what it's really about, like what it can mean. And I know that, I think deep down, I know what the meaning of it, the symbolism of it, but I just want to share with you. Yesterday was maybe the first like whole day that I've been back home. And it's so interesting that it happened while I was home, because I was out all day, and I came back home, and I have this beautiful garden in front of me, and I have these two large trees in my garden, and I am looking at them right from my table, like from my desk as I sit, and I'm seeing them through my window. These are two gorgeous tall trees. They should be old, like they're tall and just gorgeous. One of them is a mango tree, and I'm renting this house and this really, really tiny home. And as I just sat down yesterday to work on my computer a little bit, it was really windy outside, and this huge tree, the second tree that I see, not half of it, but it has two big branches, and one of them, which is almost like half of the tree, fell off in front of my eyes. And I was just, I'm still like honoring the tree. And I feel sad, very sad about it, because I knew that there had been something going on. It's not feeling so healthy, but I couldn't get the help that I wanted in the way that I feel comfortable, and I feel guilty about it. I feel angry towards my landlord and everything, but it's just making me so sad. But also, what I see is someone who came to my garden was telling me they understand from plants and everything. And they were telling me that it needed some, like not the tree itself, but other things that we were talking about. They needed some grooming. And what I feel like this was sort of like a tower moment for me. If you know any tarot, tower moments are usually like big changes, and they're usually intense and not very comfortable, but they are necessary. Some kind of death is necessary for regeneration and for newness. And I know that it's like for the benefit of the tree, that from that broken place where it was broken, new life will come out, and I will support it now with more like having more voice in me, because I think I was like silencing myself. Okay, I'm not gonna like make this any longer, but I was just really affected by this, and I should be, because this is like, trees are more important than anything than humans for me. They are first, like they come first. They should come first. So I just feel very sad But I also know that this was necessary for the regrowth, for new life. And I'm going to support that tree. And I love these trees so much. So yeah, this was, I think it has symbolism for me for sure, but let's get into the episode. So I wanted to talk to you about today as a reminder, as a positive reminder of what is family really for? What is family really for? If we had healthy family systems in this earth plane right now, how would it look like? Like, why do we build, create families? Why is there such a thing as families? Not like just like, reproduction, but why is the family really for? Like how it has a lot of deep symbolism in our subconscious, the nurturing, the positive symbolism, but how it pans out in life and like what our experience has been might be very different from what it's actually supposed to be. And even if you don't think you had any dysfunctionality in your family, if you're not like really clear about it yet, but there are things in your life that are not working, that that is like it's stagnant, or you haven't started creating your incredible life, you're not taking the steps, or you're doing so much, but things are not moving, or how you feel in your daily life, like what your emotions are on a daily basis, what your home emotions are not like fulfilling for you. These can be suggestions that there might have been dysfunctionality, any like kind of narcissistic tendencies in your family, in one of your parents, both of your parents, in different ways, whatever. But I want to talk to you about what a really healthy family looks like why the reason we have families, and why like in our subconscious, the family is like what it symbolizes for us, but how we might have the experience might be very imbalanced, like maybe out of alignment from what family is really about. So I want to remind you of what a healthy family is, and then you can see, like this is where maybe I am not feeling fulfilled with some dynamics with my family or some other dynamics in my life, and this might be the root cause of it. Or you can see why a dynamic is not working, like why there is some dysfunctional, like frustration for you, or anger, or playing small, or not really feeling that deep connection with someone, not having the fulfilling relationship, or just waiting for a potentiality. You can just figure this out more easily when we remind ourselves what a family is supposed to be like. And let me make this clear first. Like when we go into it, you're going to understand this, but I want to say we are not looking to have a perfect family. Like that is not what family is about. People are not supposed to be perfect. Their behavior towards us are not supposed to be like it has nothing to do with doing everything right. It has nothing to do with that. It does not, like having a healthy family does not depend on everyone know each other perfectly, or doing things perfectly, or like being a perfect parent, or it has nothing to do with this. It's not about perfection at all. And we're going to go deeper into this now, but it's actually about knowing that we're not supposed to be perfect. And that's what creates a healthy family. And before we dive into what family is really about, I want to remind you, it would mean the world to me if you like this podcast, if you're gaining anything from it, if you like listening to the podcast, if you can subscribe and leave us a 5-star review, or leave us a review. would be fantastic. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can just go to the main page of the podcast and just scroll down, and then you're going to find like the stars. You do the 5-star, and then you leave a review. And at the top, there is a check mark, or it says follow or subscribe, any of that. And if you click that, you're going to be following the podcast. It's going to help the podcast a lot for me to reach to other empathic, compassionate, highly sensitive souls where they might need some of the things that we talk about here. So let's begin. So what is family really for? I know that I have figured out in my experience lately that family is really about one thing that we maybe never experience, really, which I want to talk to you about. So we know that family is about deep connection, where you first learn about what love is, what attachment is, what cultivation of relationship looks like. This might be really disturbed, this might be really not healthy. And on top of that, I want to talk to you about this. I believe we have families, we create families, whether you are the child or the parent, doesn't matter, on a soul level. We create families and have families because we want to feel seen and heard. This is where we first feel seen and heard in the deepest level. Whether we are having a partnership, like we have, if you believe in marriage, like you have a husband or wife, or you are in a partnership with someone, if you make babies, if you were born into a family, you are born into some people. This is all about the individual to be seen and heard. This is what I believe is what family is really for. And if we go deeper into this, there is, I think, one major thing what family is for, and what I think a lot of us, many of us, most of us don't necessarily experience. And it is, I believe family is for where you can go emotionally to places that you normally wouldn't go. Family is for that space where somebody holds space for you, or some people, or you hold space for others in your family. Let's think about the family that you come from, that inner circle, and then it expands, but it starts with parents and children, where you go, where emotionally you can go to places that you necessarily maybe wouldn't go. So let's look at this. So you can go to places emotionally with the support of other family members. And this would look like you as a child, as a baby, first go with the support and presence of a parent or parents. You would go to those places emotionally and express them because you feel safe. And you know that you're going to be loved with every part of you. The part of you that struggles, and this can apply to any age, by the way. I believe this is the major reason why we have families for the first time. Why am I talking about this? Because if we clarify this and remember this, we can see actually what's not working, what never maybe existed from one person or everyone or whatever. When we create this clarity and when we remember this, then there is chance to make a change. This is the only way. And this is the only way that you can make changes in your life, so you start creating your incredible life. Whatever you didn't have does not matter at all. You can shift your life. Like I always say, you can shift your life tremendously, like in an incredible level. But for that to happen, you have to understand what's not working. Maybe you've been trying for something to work, but you cannot really clearly see what's the dysfunctionality in those moments that keeps you stagnant, in cycles that are unhealthy for you in your life, in any area of your life, why you feel frustrated, like all the things that you are not going for in your life. This is the only way. This is the only way that we can create healthy families for the future, for the new generation, but also first, when we look at ourselves, this is where we can understand like why we feel a certain way about some dynamics in our families, why we feel frustrated, sad, blah, blah, blah. So you go, like the family is for you going to places emotionally where you would not necessarily go with maybe other people. Like, let's think about the child. The child should feel safe enough to go to places emotionally with their families, with their parents, caregivers first, because they feel safe. And you can apply this to any age. And then you're going to these places, you're expressing them, you're owning the emotions, you're expressing the emotions, you're feeling the emotions to heal the emotions, then you're expressing them to feel seen and heard because you feel safe and because you know deep down that, and this has been your experience, that's why you know deep down that you're going to be loved with every part of you, the part of you that struggles, the part of you that felt left out by a family member, the part of you that felt not good enough or unworthy by something someone said in your family, and you're actually expressing this to them. Or it can be the part of you that felt, or the fact that you felt not enough or not worthy, unworthy by something that someone said to you in or outside the family. So you can be talking to this person themselves as well, and you feeling safe, and you know you're going to be loved, and how they are behaving in that moment is what I'm talking about here. Like what they do when they hear this. And of course, like if you are saying this, is like, do you feel the safety to express your emotions? Are you aware of your emotions? Are you in your body? Like, do you have that safety in your family? And this is all for why you go to these places that you normally would not go. That feeling of safety in your home, the word home, which is like family, related to family. This is all for you to find your way back home, which is you, yourself. So the family is not even for the sake of the family. The family is there for you to find your way back home. There is this book, I think, with this title or very similar, Finding Your Way Back Home, which is like you, yourself. This should be why we get to have families. And family is also the place where you are soothed when you feel dysregulated, when you feel any challenging emotion. This is where you should be soothed, starting as like when you were a baby, a young child. It's the place where everyone is willing to be accountable. Family is a place where everyone I'm talking about a healthy family, where everyone is willing to be accountable and they're willing, the word willing is very important here. Willing in an honest way, not in a narcissistic way, not in like a condescending way, not using that against you, not shaming you, not like, I'm not talking about this, of course, where everyone is willing to be accountable and see your emotion and see you. People are willing to see you. People are willing to see each other in an equal way, not in a same way, but an equal way. And family is a place where other family members, they want you, like the parents for the child first, or of course, parents to each other first, but then to the child. They truly want you to feel heard. They want you to feel heard and seen. And this is a big and. They know it's not going to be easy for them either. This is so important. Well, if there was like a school for families before anyone reproduced, like this should be the first course, I believe. Family is for, we have to remember, family is for whether it's with your siblings, whether it's with your parents. The parents should be giving that first to their children, not the other way around. And parents to each other first, before you make any babies, like first you see each other, willing to hear each other, willing to work on like all of the things that we're talking about here. First, two individuals giving that to each other, and then they make the conscious decision to make babies, if they will. Family is a place where family members want you to feel heard, and they know it's not going to be easy for them either. Especially if you're talking about any of the actions that they did that made you feel whatever. They know that this is not going to be easy. Like I think like we got it all wrong. Like in families, people think that it has to be easy for it to be healthy or safe. But it's completely wrong. And this is from my own life experience. People do not want to go to these places at all, or they don't want to see you or hear you because they believe the moment that it gets tricky, it's like they find a way out that really breaks your heart, that really breaks your wings or whatever. It's the belief that it has to be easy for it to work or for it to be healthy or for it to be safe or, for it to be the right thing. We have to understand as parents that when we have children, whatever our actions are towards them, the things we do or don't do, or the things we say or not say, they're going to have effect on the child. And when the child wants to express that to us, which is not going to be easy for them, first of all, like we have to understand, we have to be willing to understand the nature of the child. This is so crucial. To be willing to understand someone's nature is actually not difficult, I believe. It's not difficult. If you're willing, you can see it. If you were watching yourself as a child right now, like just 24 hours, or like not even 24 hours, like the hours that you were awake as a child, if you were around him or her, you can truly see like from their eyes what they're craving, what they're not getting, what they're waiting for, how they're behaving in a way to get those things. But it's like completely ignored, like completely. And it might look like a very happy family. So we have to understand that family is not for convenience. That just because we have a family does not mean that we feel safe, seen, heard, fulfilled, bonding, like connection, does not mean this. We have to understand family is a place where all the members, whatever that unit is, like 4 people, 3 people, 5 people, whatever it is, they all know that it's not going to be easy when the other person tells them how they feel or how they felt when they did this or that, or when we did this or that. And it's not a sign that something is wrong. It is not a sign that something is wrong. It's actually might be a sign that we're getting somewhere. Because it's after those moments that I believe, when it's a healthy connection, when it's a healthy bond, I think it's after those quote unquote like mistakes or whatever, when we hurt the other person and the other person feels safe enough to express them to us, because it's actually a difficult thing to do, to express yourself to the other person, to be seen vulnerably. I think if we can handle it in a present and a loving way and a willing way, it's where 2 hearts get closer. I think it makes 2 people closer to one another. Like you can think of your own romantic relationship. If 2 people are willing to work on the relationship, it doesn't matter like, what the other person did or said, or like how you were hurt. But if 2 people know that they will make mistakes, this is like a given for sure. And they are willing to see you, and they want you to feel seen and heard. Like they want you to feel this. They have that love for you. This is true love. Like this is true love. If we have families, if we really love our children, we have to be willing for them to feel, to experience, feel seen and heard. Like this is love itself. But imagine like how many people got this. Listening to this podcast, how many people really got this from their parents first? Like this is love, not taking your struggle with hearing what you did to the other person, not, being so narcissistic about like what my emotion is towards this, but more like I hurt this person. They have to tell me this. Like they need to feel seen and heard first. I might handle it the right way or the wrong way. I might know what to say or not say. I might feel guilt or shame or whatever, but I want them to feel seen and heard because they deserve that. I don't want them to go one day with that feeling, because the trauma is not what we really experience. It's about what we go through inside. It's the what's the word? It's like the challenge we feel inside with those emotions. Like we don't know what to do with those emotions inside. We feel alone with those emotions inside, and that's trauma. I believe love is like, this is so core. This is like core of love. Not like if it's about 2 people, it's about not being able to go to bed, like put your head on the pillow and go to sleep if you've hurt the other person. This is love. This is what we should experience, because all of the, I don't want to say mistakes, but all the people in my life that I tolerated that never gave me this, it's because I was so used to this. Like this was normal for me. I thought this was what was required from love or from close relationships, because that was what was familiar to me. I could always find excuses for the other person, always find excuses. This was so familiar to me, and I don't want this. Like, this is not familiar to me anymore. And that's why sometimes I have like a very challenging time, because I'm more aware of it now. I'm like, I have higher standards, so I do not ignore them anymore. And I don't want to ignore them. I'm still learning. I'm gonna be a student of this my whole life. I know I'm gonna learn every single day, and I'm willing to learn. And I hope my journey is like compassionate with me. It's soft and kind as much as possible, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn how to have healthy boundaries, how to have healthy relationships, healthy bond, how to be true to myself, how I never should let go of my authenticity to belong. Never, because that is never loving to anyone involved in the story, like anyone looking from high up. It's never for the good of all, for the benefit of the family. I have to stay authentic to myself always. And I know it's not going to be easy, because it is not easy, but I am willing to do the hard things. Because that's what really creates a fulfilling life for me. I know this 100% now. And I know as a result, not that it's my goal, it's not my motivation, but as a natural result, it's what creates magic for everyone involved in the story. Everyone. So family is a place where you go to places emotionally where you necessarily would not go. It's where you feel so safe and nurtured. It's like this soft, nurturing place where even if the emotions, and they will be big and challenging, that you're going to be loved no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're feeling, no matter how weak you might feel or helpless you might feel, or how big the emotions might feel. It makes me so emotional saying this, because as a child, the emotions are big and the child doesn't know what to do with them. And that's why they might, go through things which we might not see it for what it is. And the family is for being willing to see the other person, because it matters to you. It is important for you. If you've hurt the other person, you don't want to go another day. Like, you don't want to go to sleep and put your head on the pillow. That's very important for me. I find that to be very important, like not going through your life knowing that what you did hurt someone. It's a place where everyone wants to be and willing to be accountable and see your emotion and see you, and they truly want you to feel heard. They know it's not going to be easy for them either. Maybe that conversation, and it gets easier, by the way. If you get practice, it gets easier. But if you've never gone there, you just never have that sometimes. And that's the saddest thing. And family is a place, I think, where when someone is telling you what they said hurt you, for example, or made you feel, not worthy or not enough, the other person listening know that you're only scratching the surface. They want you to go deeper. They want to hold your hand in that journey. And this is what I mean by you go to places emotionally where you normally wouldn't go. This is so huge. Because as humans, and depending on our experience as a baby, as a toddler, as a child, as a young child, just by being human, it's not easy to be vulnerable in things that hurt you. And I think family is, the experience outside is so different from this, and that's why I want to talk about this. The family is the place where you feel so safe that even though it's really hard to feel that feeling or emotion, you want to go there with the person who holds space for you, because you feel held, you feel safe. Like it's not going to be used against you or anything like that. Obviously, nothing, like even the slightest build, nothing narcissistic, nothing unhealthy, like nothing, zero. It's like pure love. because the other person knows that feeling that emotion or those emotions only makes you human, nothing else. It doesn't make you different from them. It doesn't make you inferior than them. Like, nothing unhealthy of you expressing your emotion to the other person. Nothing. And I believe like this is the most important part. Like all the things I'm talking about here is like so might be so different from what you have experienced, I am guessing. But the major thing, like when you go even deeper, the standard has to be that high in a family, is what I want to say. Like all these things, and plus the person listening to you knows that when you're saying something, it obviously maybe took you so long, or it took you to feel emotions so high. So maybe you waited already and it accumulated. You're only scratching the surface when you're telling them something, and they're willing to go deeper because they're not saying to themselves, I feel uncomfortable, so let's just stop this, or let me just say something that'll break them even more, or anything. And not asking you to ignore your, like, nothing unhealthy, okay? And the person knows you're scratching the surface. So they're holding a space for you, even in a safer way, for you to open up even more, because it might take 2-3 more sentences or 2-3 more minutes for you to actually experience bliss. Like for you to leave so much weight, for you to feel a deep, deep connection with that person and with yourself, maybe for the first time. That person is willing to go there, because we have to understand the person expressing their emotions, if they're not narcissistic or anything, and if they're highly sensitive, then I believe if you're not narcissistic, you are sensitive for sure. Maybe you've abandoned that or not, but I believe that there is like way much more highly sensitive people than we think. And we have to understand, when a person is being vulnerable and telling their emotions to you, it's so challenging. It's so being so vulnerable. It's only the surface. And it does not need to go for like hours after. It might or it might not. But if you have a healthy pattern, if you've practiced this, experienced this in a healthy way, it might take only one more minute or something, like 2-3 more sentences, for you to feel so freaking seen. Like so seen, you feel ultimate nirvana. Like this is what life's about. Life is not about, and family is not about not having challenging emotions. It's actually the place where you feel so safe internally, like in a foundation level, that no matter what you're experiencing in that moment, you're going to be held, you're going to be nurtured, you're going to be safe, seen, heard, and nothing unhealthy. Like nothing, like not judged, criticized, blah, 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 blah. Like nothing like that. This is where, like, that's where love exists. This is where love exists. Love doesn't only exist where there is only beautiful, easier emotions. I think family is for that. The person knowing it's not easy for the person who are expressing their emotions, and it's not going to be easy for you to listen to them and hold space for that and respond in a way. And like this brings me to my other point. So they know you're only telling the surface, scratching the surface. And they know that they can make mistakes even in that moment too. It's fine. You're there for repair. They know it's only being human for you to feel those feelings. They know it's so easy to really hurt someone. It's so easy to hurt someone, where everyone knows the importance of repair, and they don't want you to ignore your body, what your body is telling you. They don't want you to ignore for their own comforts. And I think this is major. This is all related to what I've been talking about. I think family is a place where everyone knows the importance of repair, and they all feel urgency for repair and the delicacy of repair. This is where I will leave you at. I love you so much. I'll see you next week. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was, or something you found inspirational, or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.